It's Buck Showalter talking a little bit about Ubaldo, but how about Jim Palmer? He and Rick Dempsey combined for 173 starts as battery mates. Now, Jim Palmer's in Milwaukee. Jim, what would your plans be for the Orioles starters the second half of the season?
Well, I don't know if Rick could get that old glove with the orange circle in it, the day glow orange, and say let's throw it over, let's throw strike one. That would be, the Orioles they lead the American League in walks. There's only 3 teams with less strikeouts, so they have to throw strikes. You need to do it early. If all these guys got traded to the Pirates, Ray Searage, who's done a great job, says you make it happen in 3 pitches. Well, if you do that, it's not that Roger McDowell's not telling them this, but they need to throw more strikes. They need to do it earlier. I mean, anytime your record's 23 and 34, and you're giving up almost 5.7 runs a game, you're not giving your team a chance to win. Cosman's better than he's pitched. We've seen that the last 2 starts. Tillman, hopefully after his wife is able to have their first child, will get back to being healthy and pitching like he did last year. But at the end of the day, they just have to get better collectively, and the part of it is to challenge the hitters and try to do it. I mean, if you look at all the home runs hit yesterday, there were 5 home runs hit here, 4 of them on 3-1 count. So, Rick, I know our philosophy with the Orioles is a little bit different maybe than it is now. What's your thought on this?
Well, Jimmy, I go back to the little bit of a conversation that you and I had about my first start with you. You said to me, Rick, listen, whenever I get behind in the count, I want you to sit 1 inch off the outside corner and give me a good target and call for the fastball. That proved to me for a long time that the fastball down and away was the best pitch in the game. Well, this is something I don't see, that kind of communication between our starters and our catchers, is that they don't really know where to go when they're behind in the count. They always seem to be pitching to the hitter's strength, giving them an opportunity to power the ball middle in most of the time. They're not really using that change of speed. The guys who don't have your fastball, but they can rely on other things like Miley. I like the curveball away. It threw the hitters off balance. They give up on that pitch. If he could hit the outside corner, he'd probably be ahead in more counts. Those kind of things really matter to me. And giving that target you talk about, even though I had the orange ring around my glove, I was consciously conscious of the fact that where your pitch was going through the strike zone and where all the other guys that I caught were going through the strike zone. So often at times you saw me give that target on the ground. I think it's a huge factor in the way that the results of all their games this year.
Well, Jim and Rick, yesterday after the game was over, Manny Machado had this to say about the Orioles' current slide and how they can possibly get out of it.
We just gotta keep doing what we've been doing. I know we're all fighting and we're all trying to, get better and get past this and stay strong. And, as long as we continue to keep working and trying to get better as a team, things will start turning around.
Now, Jim, what do you think Manny means by keep doing what you're doing?
Well, you don't want him to keep doing what he's doing, because we saw that the last time up. I mean, the difference between Scope, who's hot, and Manny, who's not, was that Manny chased the pitcher's pitch. First pitch that he saw from Torres, bounce out to shortstop. Scope hit it over the center field fence. So a little bit more discipline. Manny doesn't like hitting 215. His batting average and balls in play, lifetime coming into the season was 301. He's hitting 222, so very low. The league average is 299. So he won't take a walk because his batting average will stay at 215. He's on a pace to hit, he had 4 home runs in the first month, 6 in May, 5 in June, only 1 this month, but it's, we're early into the month of July. So he's on a pace to hit a lot of home runs. The average is down. But I also think body language plays a big part in this game. And, I know some of the coaches have said, I want you to be the same guy, the kid that used to wait with his glove when your grandfather used to come home to play catch after your grandfather spent a day at working whatever he was working. And I think it would behoove the Orioles. And for Manny, I mean, he's going to impossibly be a free agent at the end of this year, even though he won't be a free agent to the end of 2018. At the end of the day, scouts are looking, and are you going to give a guy that has bad body language and doesn't run balls out and doesn't play hard a ton of money? So for Manny, he can help himself. He can help the ball club. Not dumping it all on him, because there are a lot of guys that have underachieved. But at the end of the day, he's got to get back back to being the Manny Machado that we saw last year. When you ask him, why are you having that great year? Well, I'm being selective. He's not selective now, and I don't know what you think about it, Rick.
Well, sometimes, you know, I think I know what Manny means. He's going to go out there and try as hard as he can to get his swing back together again and maybe, you know, drive in more runs and do the little things that it takes on defense and everything. But sometimes you try too hard. And that's what it is. You try too hard to make things happen, and you get out of your normal game. You just have to relax and make your plays. You got to think ahead. I mean, what am I going to do if the ball comes to me? Earl Weaver had this clubhouse meeting all the time when we used to get out of whack. Everybody just worry about himself. You do your job and let the guy next to you do his job, and the guy next to him will do his job, and all of us will come together, you know, at the right time, and we'll get back to winning again. You know, he beat that into us day in and day out. We finally understood what he means. Don't worry about the other guy in the outfield. Don't worry about the third baseman. Worry about yourself. And you and I, Jim, we had the most important job on the field is connecting pitching and catching. You know, that's the relationship that you want the best on your ball club right there, because if those two guys are being successful, everybody else is going to fall right in place.
Yeah, and it really comes back to what I think you were talking about before I came on, which is as a starting pitcher, and we hope Jayson Aquino can do it here in Milwaukee. He's going to pitch against Matt Garza, who's 9-1 against the Orioles. He can make the Orioles think they have a chance to win tonight, just like he did in his first start where he beat the Red Sox. He's only going to be a second major league start. So, you know, go out there, keep them off the board early, which has been a difficulty in this series as the Brewers have jumped to a pretty big, significant lead. So change all that and take your chances, and then Manny and the rest of the Orioles will think they have a chance to win tonight, and hopefully they got to turn things around before they go to Minnesota.